Have you ever felt like you are your own worst enemy? Like you have this amazing goal, this dream that you really want, but every time you get close, you do something to mess it up? It's like you're running a race. You can see the finish line, and then you just trip yourself on purpose. It's a crazy feeling, right? You know what you want, you know what you need to do, but something inside you just won't let you get there. You procrastinate, you make excuses, you pick a fight with someone you care about, or you spend money you were trying to save. You are standing in front of a huge mountain and you want to get to the other side, but the climb feels impossible. You try and you slip. You try again and you fall. After a while, you start to believe that maybe you're just not meant to get over it. But what if that mountain isn't a mountain at all? What if the thing that's blocking you, the thing that's holding you back, is you? That's the core idea of a book that completely changed how I see myself and my own bad habits. It's called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, and it's a total game changer for anyone who has ever felt stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage. If you've ever wondered why you do the things you do, this book is like a user manual for your own mind. Do me a quick favor and tap the like button. If you've ever felt this way, it helps me know we're on the right track. In this video, we're going to dive deep into some of the most powerful ideas from this book. We'll talk about why self-sabotage isn't what you think it is, how your negative feelings are actually secret guides, and why your brain is designed to resist the very things you want the most. And you absolutely have to stick around until the very end, because knowing these ideas is one thing, but using them is what creates real change. So at the end, I'm going to walk you through exactly, step by step, how I use the principles from this book to finally stop procrastinating on a big creative project I was terrified to start, and actually see it through to the end. It's a personal story, but I know the steps will help you climb your own mountain. The big secret: self-sabotage is not self-hatred. Okay, so let's get into the first huge idea from this book that just blew my mind. We all think that when we self-sabotage, it's because we hate ourselves, or we have low confidence, or we're just lazy. We beat ourselves up, right? We say, "Why did I do that? I'm so stupid. I have no willpower." We think it's a character flaw. But Brianna Wiest says, this is completely wrong. You know what's crazy? She says self-sabotage is actually a form of self-protection. It's a coping mechanism. It's not a way we hurt ourselves. It's a way we try to protect ourselves. So, what does this mean? It means that our self-sabotaging behaviors are not random. They are intelligently designed by our subconscious mind to meet an unfulfilled need or to avoid a deep, hidden fear. Think about that for a second. The thing you do that holds you back the most is actually your brain's weird, twisted way of trying to help you. The book gives this great example of the famous psychologist, Carl Jung. When he was a kid, he didn't like school. One day, he fell and hit his head, and his first thought was, "Great, maybe I won't have to go to school now." Soon after, he started having these random fainting spells. He couldn't control them. What was really happening? His unconscious mind created a link. Fainting equals getting out of school. The fainting spells were a substitute for legitimate suffering. It was his mind's way of solving the problem of him being unhappy at school without him having to consciously deal with it. This is what we all do in different ways. Our self-sabotage is a symptom, not the real problem. The book says we need to go through a process of deep psychological excavation. That sounds complicated, but it just means we need to dig and find the real reason. Let's look at a few common examples from the book. Maybe you keep getting into bad relationships. You consciously want a loving, stable partner, but you keep choosing people who are emotionally unavailable or who don't treat you right. Why? The book suggests maybe you sabotage relationships because what you really want is to find yourself, but you are afraid of being alone. By choosing the wrong people, you create a situation that is guaranteed to end, so you get to be on your own without having to make the scary choice to be alone. It's a back door to getting what your subconscious needs. Or what about professional success? You say you want to start a business or get a promotion, but you procrastinate on the work. You forget to send important emails. Maybe what you really want is to be a painter or a writer, something less ambitious by society's standards. Sabotaging your career is a way to unconsciously move away from a path that isn't truly yours. The book puts it perfectly. Self-sabotage is what happens when we have two conflicting desires. One is conscious, what we think we want. The other is unconscious, what we are afraid of, or what we deeply, secretly need. The mountain is formed when these two parts of you are forced against one another. You have the part of you that is aware of what you want, and the part of you that is not aware of why you are still holding yourself back. And your real job is not to fight the bad behavior, but to understand the unconscious need and find a healthier way to meet it. This totally changed how I see my own procrastination. It's not about forcing myself to work harder. It's about understanding what I'm so afraid of in the first place. Your feelings are not random. They are messengers. The next huge idea is about our emotions, especially the negative ones. Most of us think that feelings like anger, jealousy, or sadness are bad. They are things to get over, to push down, to ignore. We try to think positive and just move on. But the book argues that our triggers and negative emotions are not the problem. They are the guides to our freedom. Think about that. The things that bother you the most are actually showing you the path forward. Each negative emotion we experience comes with a message that we just don't know how to read yet. When we ignore these messages, we shut the feeling down, we store it in our bodies, and then we try to avoid anything in the world that might make us feel that way again. This is how we get stuck. On the surface, it seems like the thing that triggers us is the problem. Your boss says something and you get angry. You see a friend's success and you feel jealous. You think the boss or the friend is the problem. But the book says no. The problem is that we don't know what the emotion is trying to tell us. Let's break down a few of them according to the book. Take jealousy. Jealousy is a cover-up emotion. It feels like anger or judgment, but underneath, it's really sadness and dissatisfaction with ourselves. The book says, if you want to know what you truly want out of life, look at the people you are jealous of. You might not want their exact life, but your feeling of jealousy is actually anger that they are allowing themselves to pursue their dreams while you are not. It's a powerful signpost pointing directly to your own suppressed desires. Instead of judging them, you can use that feeling to ask yourself, what is it that they have that I wish I was brave enough to go after? What about anger? We're taught that anger is a bad, destructive emotion, but the book says anger is a beautiful, transformative emotion. Anger shows us where our boundaries are. It shows us what we believe is unjust. Ultimately, anger is trying to mobilize us, to get us to take action. Think about it. Real, lasting change in our lives often happens right after we get truly, deeply angry. We reach a point where we say, I am not going to live like this anymore. That anger is the fuel for transformation. It's only a problem when we project it onto other people instead of using its energy to change ourselves. And then there's regret. Most of us think regret is about the past, about wishing we could change what we did. But the book flips this idea on its head. Regret is not about the past. It is about the future. It's showing us what is absolutely essential for us to change going forward. Most people regret the things they didn't do, not the things they did. Didn't travel when you were young? Regret is telling you to do it now. Made choices that didn't feel like you? Regret is telling you to make different choices starting today. Regret is a motivator. So when we get these triggers, these flashes of uncomfortable emotion, we have a choice. We can see them as problems to be avoided, which keeps us stuck. Or we can see them as messengers. We can get curious. We can ask, why am I feeling this? What deep, unmet need is this feeling pointing to? This shift in perspective is the key to getting unstuck. You stop fighting yourself and start listening to yourself. Your triggers become your compass. Why your brain fights the things you want most. Okay, this next idea is a little bit counterintuitive, but it's so important for understanding why we get stuck. We think our brains are on our side, helping us achieve our goals. But the book explains that, in many ways, your brain is actually designed to resist what you really want, especially when it involves big, positive changes. Here's why. Your brain isn't wired for happiness. It's wired for comfort and survival. Your brain likes what is familiar. Anything that is familiar, even if it's a bad habit or a painful situation, registers as safe. Anything that is new and unfamiliar, even if it's a wonderful opportunity or a healthy relationship, registers as dangerous. This explains so much, doesn't it? It explains why we stay in jobs we dislike or relationships that aren't good for us. They are familiar. The thought of leaving, of stepping into the unknown, is terrifying. The discomfort of the unknown feels wrong. So we retreat back to what we know, to our comfort zone. The book talks about this concept called the homeostatic impulse. That's a fancy term for your body's desire to stay in balance. Your body automatically regulates your temperature and heartbeat to keep you stable. Well, your subconscious mind does the same thing for your mental and emotional state. It acts as the gatekeeper of your comfort zone. As soon as you try to step outside of it, alarms go off. This is what Gay Hendricks calls the upper limit problem. Every one of us has an inner thermostat for how much happiness, success, and love we are comfortable with. When things in our life start going really, really well, and we surpass that limit, we unconsciously do something to sabotage ourselves to bring our happiness level back down to what's familiar. Have you ever had a great day, and then you start an argument with your partner over something small? Or you get a big promotion, and suddenly you start worrying about everything that could go wrong? That's you hitting your upper limit. You're not used to that level of good, so your subconscious creates a problem to bring you back down to a more familiar, comfortable level of stress. We are programmed to seek what we know, not necessarily what makes us happy. So how do we fix this? The book says, we can't just shock ourselves into a new life. That almost never works. Instead, we have to change through microshifts. Tiny, small, incremental changes. You don't just change your life with one big breakthrough moment. That moment is a tipping point, but it comes after months or years of small, consistent effort. If you want to eat healthier, you don't throw out everything in your kitchen and start a crazy diet. A microshift is drinking 1 extra glass of water today. That's it. Then do it again tomorrow. If you want to exercise, don't force yourself to go to the gym for an hour. A microshift is doing 10 minutes of exercise right now. If you want to read more, read 1 page. These tiny actions don't set off the brain's alarm system. They are too small to be a threat. But when you do them every single day, they compound. That 1 page of reading becomes a book. That 10 minutes of exercise becomes a habit. You are slowly and gently expanding your comfort zone. You're adjusting your internal thermostat to a new normal. You're teaching your brain that this new behavior is also safe. And that is how real, lasting change happens. Not through force, but through small, consistent, and gentle shifts. Your future self is waiting for you. This brings us to the final core idea before I share my personal story. Once we understand why we self-sabotage and how to make small changes, how do we build a new life? How do we stop being defined by our past and start creating a new future? The book says that to truly move on, we have to stop focusing on letting go of the past. You know how when someone tells you, "Don't think of a white elephant," that's all you can think about. It's the same with our pain. When we focus all our energy on, "I have to let this go," we are actually gripping it tighter. The only way to truly let go is to start building a new life that is so engaging and exciting that you slowly, over time, forget about the past. You don't let go by forcing it. You let go by building something new. And a huge part of this is connecting with your future self. Not just any future self, but your highest potential future self. This is a powerful visualization technique the book talks about. We often hear about inner child work, where we connect with our younger selves to heal past wounds. This is the opposite. This is about connecting with the person you are becoming. The idea is to find a quiet moment and imagine sitting down with the best possible version of yourself from the future. Say, 5 or 10 years from now. This is the you that has climbed the mountain. The you that is wise, calm, and fulfilled. What does this person look like? How do they carry themselves? What does their daily life look like? What advice would they give to the you of today? The book says to just listen. This future self isn't going to scare you. They will be reassuring. They will remind you that everything is going to be okay. This exercise is so powerful because it gives you a blueprint. It shows you the person you are growing into. So you can start making choices today that align with that version of you. You start asking yourself a simple question every day. What would my most powerful self do today? Would your most powerful self scroll on social media for an hour? Or would they work on that creative project? Would your most powerful self stay in a relationship that makes them feel small? Or would they choose to honor their own worth? This isn't about being perfect. It's about having a North Star to guide your daily decisions. You start to embody the person you want to become, one small choice at a time. This shifts you from being a victim of your circumstances to being the creator of your life. You realize that your future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build day by day. How I used this book to climb my own mountain. Okay, so reading a book is one thing, but actually applying it is what really matters. So, as I promised, I'm going to show you exactly how I've been using these ideas from The Mountain Is You to overcome a big, scary mountain in my own life, procrastination on a project I deeply cared about. For years, I had this dream of starting a small side business selling my handmade pottery. I love working with clay. It's my passion. And I had all these ideas for designs, for a little online shop. In my head, it was beautiful and successful. But in reality, I was completely stuck. I spent months, literally months, in research mode. I told myself I was being productive. I was looking at other shops, researching shipping materials, comparing website platforms, but I never actually made a single piece to sell. I never took a single product photo. I was a professional preparer, not a doer. This was my self-sabotage. So I started reading The Mountain Is You, and the first big idea, that self-sabotage is self-protection, hit me like a ton of bricks. I took out a journal and asked myself the hard question, what am I protecting myself from? I wasn't protecting myself from failure. I realized I was actually terrified of success. What if people actually liked my stuff? What if I got orders? That would mean I had to be a business owner. I would be visible. People could judge my art, my prices, my photos. Someone could leave a bad review. This was the real fear. My procrastination was keeping me safe in my little hobby bubble where no one could criticize me. It was a coping mechanism to avoid feeling vulnerable. Next, I started paying attention to my triggers, just like the book said. Every time I would sit down at my potter's wheel with the intention of making pieces for the shop, this wave of anxiety would wash over me. My chest would get tight, and my mind would start racing with thoughts like, this isn't good enough. Who would buy this? Before, that feeling was a signal to stop. It was my cue to get up and do more research instead. But now I saw it as a messenger. That anxiety was pointing directly at my deep unconscious need for approval and my fear of being judged. It wasn't telling me to stop. It was telling me what wound I needed to heal. This is where the idea of building emotional intelligence and using microshifts came in. I knew I couldn't just force myself to be confident. I had to separate the feeling of fear from the action. I made a new rule for myself. I only had to work on the business for 15 minutes a day. That's it. Anyone can do 15 minutes. It was so small, it didn't trigger my big fear response. Some days, all I did was wedge some clay. Another day, I just took one photo of one mug. Not a perfect photo, just a photo. It was a tiny, tiny step, but I did it every single day. Slowly, my comfort zone started to expand. 15 minutes started to feel easy, so I'd sometimes go for 30. The small, consistent actions were building momentum. Finally, I did the future self visualization exercise. I closed my eyes and imagined myself 5 years in the future. I saw the version of me who was running her small, successful pottery business. She wasn't a millionaire, but she was happy and proud of her work. I asked her for advice. What I heard was so simple. She told me, just share your work. Not everyone will like it, and that's okay. The people who love it will find it. I noticed how she handled her day. She didn't check her sales every 5 minutes. She spent her time creating. She wasn't worried about the outcome. She was in love with the process. So I started trying to act like her. When I got a negative thought, I'd ask, what would future me do? She would just gently redirect her focus back to the clay. And piece by piece, microshift by microshift, I built my shop. It's still small, but it's real. It exists. I climbed that first mountain, not by attacking it, but by understanding it. The most powerful takeaway for me and for you is this. The obstacle in your path is not just an obstacle. It's a teacher. Your mountain is not there to stop you. It is there to teach you how to climb. The final takeaway. So the core message of The Mountain is You is that the biggest battles we face are not with the world, but with ourselves, our self-sabotage, our fears, our triggers. They are all just parts of us waiting to be understood. If any of this resonated with you, I can't recommend Brianna Wiest's book enough. I've only just scratched the surface of the wisdom inside it, and reading it for yourself will give you an even deeper understanding. It truly is a guide to transforming self-sabotage into self-mastery. Thank you so much for watching. If this was helpful, please hit that like button, and I would love to read your thoughts in the comments. What is the mountain that you are facing right now? Sharing it is the first step to climbing it. And if you want more ideas on how to build a better life, check out this other video on my screen now. I'll see you over there.